Welcome, friends and family. I am so excited to be here with you today. This is the week after Easter. We call that Resurrection Day, right? Jesus did the hard work of going to the cross, hanging on the cross, dying on the cross for no sin that he committed, but for my sin, for the sins of the world. And in return, giving us his righteousness. And then guess what? Well, you know it. He rose again on the third day. And because of that, we have life and life everlasting. Could not be more excited about that. Man, that is a breath of fresh air. So many of us do not deserve that, but yet he gave it to us freely. And we can never say thank you enough. So excited today to talk about more about a growth mindset. See, we can have a growth mindset or we can have a fixed mindset. And this is just a really great educational tool, I think, that will help us as human beings to grow and to be our very best. For a long time, I've shared with you all, I grew up with a fixed mindset. Like I remember one time I was in a tennis match and it was just pick up fun game, but it was competitive. They were keeping score and it was a pretty close match. But I started getting beat. Now, this is even after I got born again. This is after August the 8th of 1998. And, but I'm getting beat and I just throw in the towel. I remember the kid actually looks across the net and he says, the game ain't over. You can keep trying. And I think I was so mad. I didn't want him to say that. I was so just, I just was mentally beat. And so I had this fixed mindset. I had this mindset that no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get better. And I think I've heard Pastor Bobby Davis say this before, and it makes a lot of sense. He said, I can help almost anybody, but I can't help a victim. And that day I was choosing to be a victim. I chose to go throw in the towel. I got in my mind, I can't win. I'm no good. And I threw in the towel. Well, that's no good. That's no good thinking. And that's what we call fixed mindset. Guys, a growth mindset is says things like this. Is this my best work? A growth mindset doesn't just settle for good enough. It says, is this my best work? Is this the best I can do? Or can I improve? See, I believe a growth mindset is always continuing to improve. One of the core values that we have within our Elevate Real Estate community is commitment to personal and team growth. Why? Because we know that if we are committed to getting better, then guess what? Everybody around us will benefit and those around us will get better. So we need to be committed to personal to asking that question as a growth mindset. Is this my best? Is this my best work? Can I do better? We don't give up. That's a fixed mindset. I give up. Another fixed mindset. I know best. You all probably know people like this. I've probably been this guy from time to time. I have that ego. It's so big. I think I know more than anybody else, and you can't tell me nothing. I know best. You can't tell me nothing. And so when you're around people like that big ego, that they're having a fixed mindset. You can't help them because they know it all. You can't take something that's already full and pour more into it. But uh, a growth mindset, I improve with practice. I can get better. I'm not full. The cool thing Apostle Paul said, he said, um, he said, this one thing I do. He said that he never feels as if he has arrived. He's always pressing forward to the mark of the high calling. He said, it's not as if I've arrived. I'm always pressing forward. So we don't feel like we hit a lid. Fixed mindset's very cap minded. Um, and I heard this the other day too. John Maxwell said, "You will never rise higher than your insecurities. You'll never rise higher than your insecurities. When you think you got to know it all, that tells me that you're probably a pretty insecure person because you're putting off the appearance that you know it all, which means that you can't learn anything." For a growth mindset, feedback is valuable. We want feedback. We're always asking for feedback. How can I improve? What can I do better? What can I be as a leader? How can I do better? Last week I got away for a couple days, went to one of our cabins, and it's called Moonshine Bluff up on Bonaire Mountain, just 30 minutes from here. But I was tasked with the to tell the Elevate story. And in this portion of the Elevate story, it asked, what has been your biggest challenge starting the brand and becoming the founder and the owner and the brand? And immediately my mind went to like other people and the trials and tribulations of those people. But then you know what? It's just like a good friend of mine just kind of put his finger on my chest and he said, this thought went through my mind. Your biggest challenge has been you. It's been your ability to grow as a leader. It's been your ability to lead well. I know in the first 3 or 4 years of starting a team, Lindsay and I have went through over 30 people. That's a lot of people to go through. And surely not all 30 had an issue. I had to do a lot of growing and soul searching as a leader. So I can always improve. I can always get better. Recently the turnover is just not nowhere where it used to be. So did the people change or did I change? Probably both. I learned what kind of people to look for, humble, hungry, smart, and I learned what I needed to do to improve. So a little bit of both. Fixed mindset, I'll never be smart enough. I'll never be good enough. I want to avoid making mistakes. I'm always going to play it safe. This keeps people playing way below their current abilities, and that's false humility. I can do all things through Christ. Mistakes help me learn. Thomas Edison, again, he invented the light bulb. Somebody asked him one day, Thomas, it took you 10,000 times to figure out, you had to make 10,000 mistakes to figure out how to make the light bulb. He said, no, no, no. I said, I never looked at it like that. It took me 10,000 times to figure out what not to do. So he was learning 10,000 ways not to do it. He was only looking for the one right way to do it. So he didn't let the mistake stop him. He learned every time. And with a growth mindset, I will not give up. I will not quit. One thing we've often talked to with our children, and we say this right to them all the time, it's never, don't pray it gets easier. Pray you get better. Life probably doesn't get easier. We generally graduate to more challenges, harder, different difficulties. A growth mindset will embrace that. David Goggins, he looks for the challenge. Jocko looks for the challenge. People that are going to grow and go on to do great, significant things that changes the world, they embrace challenges. They embrace failure. They embrace learning from their mistakes. But those with the fixed mindset, they're capped. They're not going to go too far in life. They're going to cut off at a certain place. They're going to play it safe, which is accepting below your means. So I challenge you today. I challenge you to just begin that simple prayer. Lord, I'm not praying that things get easier. I'm praying that I get better. I appreciate very much you taking time to listen to this. If it's something that you feel like it could have added some value to you, please like it and feel free to share it. We want to be able to invest into more people and add more value. Thank you. Have a great day.